All right, so for the video here, I'm going to talk to you about how and what to do with your paper mache as you begin. And so, a couple things. First of all, the paper mache itself is, this is a paper mache animal. This is a frog, as you may or may not be able to see. And it's been paper mache to the point where it's hard. And we made it out of newspaper, and then and tape, and then I paper mached over it, and you can still see the newspaper. It hasn't been painted yet. So this is one that was painted, a crow. Okay. So anyway, let's talk about paper mache. These are two that have been done or started, and this was the raccoon that I showed you guys, my example. Okay. Now the first thing I did is I glued it down to the base, and we're going to use hot glue guns. I have a hot glue gun by the pink wall, blue wall, orange wall, and green wall. As you guys know, hot glue is hot, so you don't want to touch it. And what you want to do is put the hot glue on the base and then stick the head right on top of the hot glue. But you got to do it quickly because the hot glue does dry fast. So something we discovered second hour was that because of my example here, everybody was trying to glue theirs on like this so that the face stuck straight out. And some people, like I have a young man who did a alligator, his face was so long that it was heavy and it just kept falling over. Very much like this horse head. So if you look at this horse head, if this had been glued up and down, it probably would have fallen with the weight. So you have to determine, would it work better for yours to be coming out like this, so it's sticking up vertical, or it's laying along the base like this, because this is much stronger being glued flat like that. All right? So next thing you're going to do is once you get it glued on, you are going to grab some newspaper and you are going to just flatten it out and have it as your mat. This is your paper mache mat. Because what can and will happen, and this one's a good example, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a bunch of paper mache that's just dripped and run off and all of that. And so if it sticks to the newspaper, not a big deal. We're using newspaper. We can just rip the newspaper off and we're good to go. If, however, your paper mache sticks to cardboard or the table or something like that, you're risking ruining your project. So you want to keep it on a newspaper mat. See how this is sticking? Ooh, I'm just going to pull it off just to kind of show you here. All right, so that came off pretty easily with just a little bit of work. So for today, what we are going to be doing is paper macheing the animal to the base, and then you can do more if you get far enough. But if you look at this, let me see if I can get into the camera a little bit. If you look at this, you can see newspaper strips right here, and they're also going up and stretching up and going up the animal as well. All right, I'm going to show you how to do that here also. So, what you're going to need is some paper mache gunk. I'm going to call it gunk or elephant snot because that's what it looks like. You are going to need a piece of paper towel. I like to just keep it handy to wipe my hands when they get dirty. And you're going to need some strips of newspaper. So I have a bunch of these cut up at the front of the room. Personally, I think they're a little long. So as I begin, I'm probably going to take these and I'm going to trim them down to pieces that are about this size. Okay, maybe about 3 or 4 inches. All right, and they're easily ripped. Now this gunk, this paper mache paste, as you can see, it kind of like slime. And so it takes a little bit to get used to, but it's also easy to wash off. You don't want to get it on your clothes per se, so if you want to wear an apron, go ahead and grab an apron. But it'll wash off your hands with no problem. So I'm going to do this first, and this is what I want you guys to do today, is we are going to take our strips, and we are going to dip it into the paper mache, and you're going to take your fingers and run off the extra paper mache. You saw a lot of that came off, didn't you? Okay. So then I'm going to take this strip and I'm going to lay it on the cardboard. The very bottom of it is on the cardboard. And I'm going to push it into the bottom of the animal. I want it to be right up against the very edge of the animal right here. Let me see if I can zoom in without getting my camera paper mache'd. And now we'll see if it focuses. Aha, brighter too. So let me do that one again. I just took this, I laid it down right there. So I'm going to do one more here. And if you end up putting 2 layers on today, I think that's excellent. It's only going to get stronger when you're paper macheing. And if you do 2 layers or 3 layers. So again, I dipped it. I'm going to run the extra stuff off. Very drippy. All right, I'm going to lay this down on the cardboard. And I'm just going to smooth it in. So this piece that I just laid on there, these 2 pieces, are actually going to act like a really strong tape. And they're going to attach the animal to the base. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for answering. All right, now, if you get that done all the way around, then you can take some pieces. And again, I'm going to rip them so they're a little smaller. And I'm going to start paper macheing other parts of my animal as well. I'm going to lay it down. I'm going to paper mache over the nose, the eye area. And you can see I'm flattening this one out a little bit. Maybe I need to zoom out just a little further there. Whoops, wrong way. So I flattened this one out. In fact, I'm just going to kind of push it down to the shape of my paper mache animal. I'm also going to use this paper mache like a taper glue to attach the ears. So I'm doing the same thing, getting the extra stuff off. And I'm going to lay it down like this. Flatten it against the ear. Okay, flatten it against the ear. And if it's hanging down, like I have a little piece right here hanging down, I'm just going to bend that over the ear and shape it to the ear. So this stuff can actually be used to model some different shapes. Like I've got a piece right here that's sticking up. I'm just going to put a little more paper mache on and I'm going to fold it over and flatten it out. And again, this paper mache acts as an adhesive. It will attach the 2 pieces together once it dries. All right, now, assuming you get quite a bit done today, you get the whole thing done, you can do a second layer. Ultimately, our goal is to have at least 3 layers. Maybe not today, but by the time we say we're done, we're going to have 3 layers. Today, I'm expecting if you start today, you can get at least 1 layer done. And most importantly, is that we get this base to the animal done. Which, by the way, and you guys are the first ones because I forgot to tell my other classes this, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cover the entire base. I don't want it dripping off of the base, but see how you can see brown here? I'm going to lay another piece down and just paper mache over my base as well, and that'll help join all the pieces together. Now, when it comes to washing, you just go to the sink, put some hot water on, start rinsing it out, put a little soap, wash. The soap and the water do wonders, but probably the best thing is to get some paper towel and just when you dry, you will get the rest of this stuff off. When I do say cleanup time, we need to get these all put up as quickly as possible. We're going to put these up by the blue, green, pink wall, which is where you'll find them to pick them up. Need all eyes up, guys. I'm almost done. And then we're going to take this with the newspaper and we are going to set it in the storeroom. We're no longer using boxes. We're going to set these on the shelf just like this. Please make sure that it's not touching any other animal because we want it to dry all by itself, not touching anything except for maybe newspaper underneath. Do you have any questions? I am eventually going to paper mache my mouse here. Hang on. Let me turn this off.